one of the main reasons why I selected this program is that it's just for 10 months because I actually came in through the permanent residence program. They don't really have an opportunity to work with us. I have close to 24 courses that I need to finish. It's your choice, right? You can actually pick and choose what you need. I did not have a scholarship in hand. You can become a TA in a subject that you've already covered in the past. At the end of the day, you have to be proactive. You have to take the proactive stance and go hunt for a job. It's not a very defined career path.
Hello everyone, welcome to College Dunya Study Abroad. My name is Anshika and today we have with us Arjun, who is pursuing his Masters in Data Science from University of British Columbia. Hi Arjun.
Hello, Anshika. Hi, everyone.
So could you please introduce yourself to our viewers with some of your background?
Okay, so presently I am pursuing my Masters of Data Science program at the University of British Columbia, as you've already mentioned. So prior to this, I was working with Microsoft as an Azure Cloud and AI consultant. So basically over there, I was working on developing and designing cloud web applications for some clients. Basically, they used to come up with their business requirements and we used to just tell them what the best technology stack they can use and probably just build a solution as well for them. So that's what I used to do over there. And I had close to 5 years of experience over there. And prior to that, I had my undergrad in VIT University, and it was bachelor's in computer science and engineering. So that's my academic track record. And yeah, so I've always been fascinated about AI, even when during my undergrad itself. So it took me a while to actually actualize that dream from being fascinated to working with it a bit, and then finally doing this master's program over here to just get a deeper understanding.
That's great. Seems like you missed on some. Did you do some graduate degree from India as well?
I did. I mean, that was basically an executive program that I did while I was associated with Microsoft.
Okay,
So
it was
I wanted,
like a weekend program that you did in business or something?
yes, it was not a weekend program. It was a year-long diploma program from NIMS.
Okay.
So basically, I wanted to try my hand with business, and I understood that I'm more oriented towards the technical side of things, and it's something that I would definitely want to pursue later on in the future. But right now, I want to stay in tech.
That's great. So you have like 5 years of experience in Microsoft. So how did you have the courage to leave work life and then like go into back as a student? How do you feel? And I don't think if I would have like worked for 5 years at Microsoft, I would even turn back to college life.
Okay, so I think the main reason, the driving factor for me was that I wanted, as I mentioned earlier, I actually wanted to get into AI and machine learning. So I had opportunities there, but it was not at a deeper level. So at the end of the day, you can work on things, but you won't really understand what's going on beneath it because most of those layers are abstracted from you. You have tools and packages and services that Azure provides, but at the end of the day, you don't really understand what's going on within that structure. So I think that's one of the driving factors for me. And one of the main reasons why I selected this program is that it's just for 10 months. I get the master's degree for 10 months, and that would put me back in the industry pretty soon. So I can use the knowledge I had in the past, get more knowledge here in this very concise, but it's very hectic, but it's amazing. You get everything that you need in this field. So you get that, you get this, and then probably come out with some good skills that I can use to help develop more things.
Yeah. So you said that it's a 10-month program, which is really short for a master's program. So you had this thing in mind that you need to come back to workforce as soon as possible. So which other universities did you apply to? Any other universities which have the same program, like the limit, and which matches the same program structure?
Okay, so I think the first one that I applied to was, I had applied to 3 universities, University of Waterloo, then Simon Fraser University and UBC. As you've clearly guessed, I was not that interested in going back to studies, but at the same time, I thought I'd give it a shot. So that was my path. So I got UBC, and this was the shortest program among all three. All the others were like 1.5 years, and some, I think, Waterloo specifically was for around 2 years. I'm not sure. So yeah, that was a bit more lengthier, and I didn't want to stay away from the industry that long because my existing skills would start getting rusted.
Yeah.
So I definitely didn't want that. So I thought this was a short, concise, but at the same time effective program. So
That's great. So when you apply to, you might have not have contacts with the professors in your university. So how did you frame your SOP, LORs, and did you give any GRE or IELTS?
okay, I gave IELTS, and quite frankly, I'd given IELTS twice. I'd given the IELTS general and the academic version because I actually came in through the permanent residence program. I did not come through the study permit route. So I had to give it twice, and I was able to get an understanding of how the system works well through the first and the second attempt. So I had the fortune of getting pretty good scores. I got, I think, 8 in both, and that's with IELTS. Yeah, I was just thinking about it. For me personally, I didn't have to really talk to the professors because these are professional courses, right? You're not working with a thesis advisor, you're not having a research position. So I do love my professors here and they're great at what they do, but they don't really have an opportunity to work with us.
Okay.
They'll teach. And we have a final capstone project where we will be actually closely working with them. But I think the research part of it is a bit limited. So it doesn't really matter which professors you're aware of in terms of writing them in your SOP. Because if you go ahead and say that I want to work under this particular professor, then that's not going to happen. So, which means you've not done enough research on understanding that this is not a research-oriented program. So that might put you at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I was talking about the LORs. Like the university might be requiring some LORs. And did you have all professional LORs, or did you have some back from your college?
Okay, so I had 2 professional and 1 back from my college. So the professional ones were from my my manager and from an architect that I worked along with, and the one that I got from my academic LOR was a faculty that I had worked with during my time in the IT.
Okay. Yeah, so contacting your professor after a long time of 5 years and getting back to him would be a pain.
Yes, it was. I mean, I contacted some other faculties as well, and some of them had actually left the university. So I was actually conflicted because can we still ask their referral because they're not part of the university anymore? But at the same time, you definitely would want at least one
academic
LOR from an academic professor. So yeah, I could find one, thankfully. So I was able to find
it. The number of people from VIT who come abroad is huge. So I mean, it would be a lot of professors giving a lot of LORs all the time. So talking about the course that you're doing, you said it's a 10-month program. So I think it is mostly, you don't intern in between, I'm assuming that, and you just study all the while?
Yeah, I mean, study for the first 8 months. I mean, there is a 1 month break in between, but that you really need to just, settle down again. But after that, again, the capstone project, that's it.
Okay, so how is your course structured? I mean, when did you land in Canada and when does the course end for you? How many courses you have to complete in total?
Okay, so I have close to 24 courses that I need to finish for the, let's say, if I divide the entire curriculum into 2 parts, the one would be the learning part and one would be the pure application part, the practical part. So for the theory and learning part, I have close to 24 courses, and that's split across 6 blocks, as we call it, and each block is like for around a month.
Okay.
So that's how it's structured, and we have, even though I say that it's theoretical, you actually will be closely working with the theory. So we have theories in the morning and the practical application of it in the same day, like during the afternoon. We have lab sessions where you actually would be working on whatever you learned in the morning. So it's not too much into the theory because we're really trying to, because it's a very short program, right? So we need to get the most out of it and we need to know hands-on skills on how to do these things.
For sure.
So it's to the point and it gives you that hands-on skills as well. And at the end, they put you in a live project and they say that, start working on this.
Could you talk about some of your projects? I mean, what subjects do you take, and you have the choice to select your own subjects, or it's more like?
No, it's a fixed curriculum because I think to have such flexibility, then the program would definitely have to be longer because then it's your choice, right? You can actually pick and choose what you need.
Yeah.
In this particular case, I think it's mostly along the lines of they give you the curriculum and they have a well-defined structure already in place, because I think it's been going on for a while now, this particular program, and they've refined it over the years. So I think they understand what the market needs and they've structured it this way, and it's cross-cutting as well. It's not just machine learning alone. It's not pure data science and the math oriented behind it. It's not data engineering as well. It just cross-cuts through all of these three and then gives you an overall picture so that in case if you want to just specialize in one of these things, you have that broader knowledge and you can actually, lead stakeholder meetings based on this knowledge.
Got it. And for the capstone project, you have to select one of those domains and make a project in that domain, or you're open to use all the technologies and learnings? And
they will actually meet. They'll actually set up a meeting with a bunch of capstone partners who are actually real-life businesses, and they'll actually share what their problem is. So you get to sort your preferences in terms of which one that you want to work on. And then based on your preferences and what's available, and I'm pretty sure they consider a lot of factors into it, they'll allocate a project to you, and then based on that, you can work on it.
Got it. That's great. I mean, you get to experience real life projects and things that are already live. So
it's not yet live. That's the thing. So these are small businesses, and it might not even be small businesses. I think some of the projects are like from well-established organizations, but they have a problem that could be solved with data. It's not sure that it can actually be solved with data, but they have a hunch that it could be solved, so they come to us, and I think we try our best. I've not reached that state yet, but yeah, I'm going to reach that state soon in the next couple of months.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, all the best for your capstone. And now coming to the fee structure, the whole course is, how much did it cost you? And did you have any scholarships in hand?
I did not have a scholarship in hand. But at the same time, I'm paying the domestic fee because, as I mentioned, I came in as a permanent resident. Okay. And I think I'm not really sure in terms of how much I've paid so far. I think it will be close to around 20 lakhs. I'm sure. I'm not. That's a ballpark figure. Yeah. And for international students, it's around 30. Okay. But from what I've observed is that this particular program is a bit on the higher edge in UBC because it's a very short program, and I think even the faculties themselves are a bit stretched to teach continuously from start to finish, and they cannot slack as well, right? Because they actually deliver excellent lectures. The curriculum is amazing because they have to fit that content in that short span of time. Yeah. So I think, maybe that's the reason why they keep it at a higher price scale. But I think other courses in UBC are much more reasonably priced, I would say.
Okay. And do international students get scholarships or TA, RAs? I don't think that there would be TA or RAs as it's not research based, but then I'm just guessing, how do students earn, or they just study because it's so much course load?
So that's actually a very good point to consider while taking this course, because this, as I mentioned, is a very hectic program. Yeah. So if you have a background, maybe you can try applying for part-time jobs, and there are TA positions available. So you can become a TA in a subject that you've already covered in the past. So if I'm in block 4, I can be a TA in block 1 or 2 or 3. So that provision is available, but I've not seen a lot of people take it. The only people who have taken it, I think, in my knowledge, are the ones who have some background knowledge in data science who can actually manage the workload. Because at the moment, I think the course structure is in a way, they actually mention it in their website. This is an accelerated program. Don't try to do part-time work. Focus on your academics. That's it.
It would be difficult to manage a part-time along with all the studies.
Yeah, that's true.
And you talked about having like a theory class, and then practicals in the evening. So is it like you attend some hours of lecture and then in the evening you go to labs as we did back in India?
Yeah, it's exactly like that. It's a cohort-based system. It's not a system. I mean, in India, I actually could pick and choose. In VIT, I had the other system where you could pick and choose your, courses. But over here, I'm experiencing the other side of things where you have a typical classroom structure, and then you just go attend classes, and then in the labs, you have the hands-on practice.
That's great. I mean, in US, I have never heard people going to labs, as in.
Okay.
So there are more like we have assignments and we get like it's a hand-on experience because we're coding on our computers. But the thing is that we don't have a lab time or a specific period where we go to the lab and do the projects together.
Okay.
Yeah. So talking about the future prospects of this course, it seems to be very industry oriented. And does the university help in grabbing some opportunities, or is there any career fairs that help students doing masters in data science?
I just want to circle back on the previous question's answer as well, because that links to this. When I say that we have lab hours, it's basically time with the faculty, and it's like open hours plus a dedicated time where you can work with everyone there.
Okay.
So it's not like you get to finish the assignment during that allocated time. It's like you have your faculties there, you have your TAs there. It's a time where you can actually brainstorm and then find solutions to problems like that. So if you use that time well and if you use that time well, then I think you should be able to get a good understanding of the fundamentals. And I think these faculties themselves support students in helping them with their future job prospects, because they're very committed in helping our students. And one of my faculties already said that, he mentioned it to the entire class. If you want any referrals, please do let me know. So they're very supportive in that sense. And in terms of placements, I don't think we have the same structure as what we had in India, where companies would come to the university and then, recruit people. We have career fairs that help out a bit, but at the end of the day, you have to be proactive. You have to take the proactive stance and go hunt for a job. Yeah.
Sure. So you came in August 2022 or September, right? That would be your intake term?
Yeah, that's true.
You'll be graduating in?
June.
Okay, so in June, all of the course ends. So you have to also apply for full-time roles while you're doing this course, and in such a short time period where you just get accustomed to the country, to the culture and the structure. How do you manage all of this, and how is the job application process? When does it start?
I think one important life lesson this particular program taught me is how to manage your time efficiently, because you have to be very ruthless in terms of every minute that you spend.
Yeah.
And if you end up spending it on the wrong places, you'll get feedback soon and you will correct yourself soon. So I think that's one of the important life lessons I learned through this process. And as of now, I've not really decided on applying for a full-time position at the moment, because I actually wanted to take some time for myself for personal reasons. But at the same time, I've seen people who are actually actively studying the curriculum along with whatever they need. For interviews, I think this curriculum is pretty good. It teaches you everything that you need to know about data science in that professional manner, like how you would use it in a professional setting. Yeah. So it's a parallel thing. I don't see it as two separate entities. But if you're interested in some other full-time role, such as a software development engineer, then it'll be a bit problematic for you, because it doesn't really involve around software engineering principles. And I'm a person who saw this as an extension of software engineering. So for me, I actually thought, I have the skill. I'll probably take some time to brush up my other skills and then properly apply.
Okay. So talking about the full-time job roles, so what's the average salary that a person who's done a MS in data science from University of British Columbia would get in job market? And what are the typical companies that pick people from this course?
Yeah, I think that's a diverse answer,
I think
to be honest.
An average thing, because I know there are variations, because depending on experience subjects and things you're
That's
in.
right. Yeah. I can't really put a ballpark figure on it because it truly does depend on the experience. Like even if you do academically really well, in my particular cohort itself, there is a person with, I think, more than 10 plus years of experience.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, it's a very diverse cohort. You have people from backgrounds of finance. They're not necessarily from tech. So they have a background in medicine and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure where their future paths are going to be at. It's not a very defined career path. Sure, we have the ML engineers, the data scientists, and stuff like that, but not a lot of people are really confined to their roles. So it really does depend on what you want, your experience level, how much value you bring to the team.
So talking about diversity, I also want to know diversity in terms of the student who comes from different countries. Like, are there a lot of Indians, or it's like all diverse?
It's extremely diverse. I mean, you see people from, I think, almost a lot of the countries that we have. I've not really kept account. I was just thinking about it, and I think it's too difficult to keep account of that. But I don't think you would find a large chunk of people belonging to the same group.
Okay.
And I think that's one of the things that, I mean, not just in terms of their origins, in terms of their career prospects as well. I mean, so as I mentioned before, they all come from different career backgrounds and different origins as well. So I think it's like a really good place for you to understand different cultures, but you won't get a lot of time in terms of understanding their cultures. You get to walk with them and see what their technical background has been, because you will be focusing on solving your assignments and understanding what's going on in the course curriculum and so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing.
I think I like the fact that here, when you pursue a master's, it's not limited to engineering people doing a master's in engineering. So I just really like how people from biology also are there studying computer science or even data science.
Exactly. That's what
I think
and they don't limit themselves.
Yeah. The stream can help every stream. It can be helped with engineering. So I think it's good to have different people. Yeah. So can you talk about some of your experiences at the university, some good or bad times that you had?
Okay, for the good times would be every time I'm done with a specific block, because so right now I'm done with block 4.
Congratulations.
So I get a short period of time where I can take a deep breath, and then I have to again hustle for the next block. So those are the times where I definitely enjoy and take a break. And I think I also enjoy, I know it might sound like a geeky response, but there are times during the lectures where you actually feel like, oh, that's how it works. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I enjoy those moments as well, even though it could be a bit taxing. But yeah, those are the parts that I enjoy the most. The parts that are a bit more challenging would be to commute basically to the university, because I didn't get college housing and I have to commute. But I know that there are people who commute for more than an hour also, so I shouldn't really complain. But I have to commute for around 30 minutes, which is kind of a waste of time, especially as I mentioned that, for me, every minute counts.
Yeah. So I missed on the living expenses that you have. Could you talk about the rent of the house, or you live far away from the campus, it seems? So is there like on-campus housing or housing that is off campus but close to the campus?
There are options available. One thing that people should note is that Vancouver is extremely expensive in terms of housing. Okay. So I'm paying close to $1,000 for a shared room.
For a shared room?
For a shared room, yeah.
Oh my God, it's expensive than Boston or even New York.
I know, right? So you're forgetting the currency conversion rate, but yeah, it's a bit expensive.
Yeah.
But I think what it has to offer in return is the beautiful sceneries and stuff. Like you have the mountain ranges, you have the oceans and forests as well. I mean, it's very beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a bit too expensive. That's the thing.
Yeah. So do you have some advice for people who want to pursue their masters in the same course at your university?
I would recommend that they really understand why they're doing it. I mean, they should have a clear intention of why they're doing this, because it's gonna get challenging, and that why should be there to drive them forward, or it might be a bit difficult to move on. So that's the thing. Know your whys and take a proactive stance.
Sure. Thank you so much for your time, Arjun. It was great talking to you today.
Same here.